in this chapter on Indian Constitution, the significant provision, the preamble, related to preamble, I would like to specifically talk about what all conclusions we can make from the preamble, or what all we can learn from the preamble, what are the conclusions we can make from the preamble. So, I would like to deal this as a separate video and a separate topic, because especially in the main exam, this is where you have to analyze and tell what all conclusions we can make from the preamble. So, preamble, the conclusions or the understanding we can have, conclusions from the preamble we can make from it. Preamble, the conclusions we can make from it, or preamble, the conclusions we can arrive at. So, first of all, preamble says, we the people of India. So, the first conclusion is, who made the Constitution? Who made our Constitution? So, preamble clearly says, no confusion whatsoever, it is saying, we the people of India. We the people of India have solemnly resolved, okay, having solemnly resolved, to do certain things to constitute India, and it talked about these rights of the citizens, also liberty, equality, fraternity, etc., and said finally that after saying everything, do hereby, we the people of India, having solemnly resolved, and do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution, and give to ourselves this Constitution. So, we the people of India have solemnly resolved to adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. So, the conclusion which you can make from this is, Constitution was made by the people of India, of course through the Constituent Assembly, but on behalf of the people of India, that is number one. Number two, we have made it through our free will. It is not under any compulsion. We have decided to adopt this Constitution, enact this Constitution, and give to ourselves this Constitution. Nobody else gave this, nobody else forced this Constitution on us. So, it is our free will to create this Constitution, and this is the people of India's will, and people of India wanted to create a Constitution, and we have gave to ourselves to this Constitution. So, the first conclusion is, who is the source? What is the source? The people of India has made it, and it is given to ourselves, this Constitution, and no external influence in this. That is a big conclusion, because after some years, maybe another 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, if somebody stands up and, who made this Constitution? It is clearly mentioned in the preamble, we the people of India made this to be given to ourselves. It is nobody else. Nobody else has made this. It is our Constitution. That is number one. Second conclusion we can make from this preamble is relating what kind of India is envisaged in the Constitution. It says very clearly, just by reading, you need not read the whole Constitution to understand what kind of India we are thinking of. It very clearly said, the Constitution says, we the people of India have solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. So, we are creating a sovereign country, a state which is sovereign, not answerable to anybody else outside. A socialistic country, but a democratic socialistic country. Democracy is our hallmark. So our socialism is different from the socialism of China or Soviet Union at that time. It is 100% socialist in a democratic socialism, democracy as our hallmark. A secular country, no state religion for India, and India will not allow any religion to interfere in the politics. Religion should not interfere in the matters of the state. That is the philosophy of our constitution makers, and we have to stick to that. We should. That is for good for the country, but unfortunately we may not be doing it right now. Democratic, a parliamentary democracy has been identified by us. India will be a democratic country, a parliamentary democratic country. Parliamentary democracy will be followed in our country, similar to what is followed in the United Kingdom. And it is a republic, no hereditary monarch. Our head of the state, the number one citizen of the country, will be an elected leader, not a hereditary monarch. That is what we are giving the message through the preamble. Just by seeing this, anybody can understand what kind of India we are envisaging. And similarly, the next is, what are the offers to the people? What is that a citizen can expect from India? Now, the expectations of the citizens. What all is offered, what all are offered for the people? We are offering, this constitution is offering justice to all. This justice is not just the political justice, social, economic and political. See, in many Western democracies, there may be political justice, but no economic and social justice. We are having a blend of, see, normally this political, the social and economic justice is a part of a socialistic country. So we are giving both. We are giving social, economic and political justice to all. Political justice through our fundamental rights, our right to vote and everything. And at the same time, through the directive principles of the state policy, we are ensuring social and economic justice. Very important, normally not found in many of the countries. Both are not found. There may be social justice, then there is no political justice. But here we offer both. And similarly, we offer liberty. Liberty is the most cherished rights acquired by us through this constitution. And very clearly mentioned, this liberty is not just about the movement or anything, just movement. It is liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship. Liberty of thought, expression, belief. So then faith, worship. So it is, most of this provisions are given in the fundamental rights. This liberty is ensured elaborately. Article 19 to 22 talks about the thought and expression and everything, liberty, and also the faith, belief, worship in religious rights, Article 25 to 28. So elaborate provisions to ensure liberty. I will say this is the most important right provided by our constitution to all of us. And since we got it in a platter, many of us are not even understanding the value of it, quite unfortunately these days. But otherwise, this is the most cherished rights given by the constitution to all of us. And also our constitution ensures equality. Equality of status, equality of opportunity, no discrimination whatsoever. And we are also, the constitution also ensures fraternity, the universal brotherhood, the feeling of oneness, the feeling of togetherness, the feeling of our fellow citizenship and the feel for one another. Fraternity, equality and fraternity. Fraternity. And you see, so this constitution is offering us justice, liberty, equality and fraternity to all citizens. So the offer to the people. So what all conclusion, what all we can feel, what we can get from the preamble? First of all, who made the constitution? Number two, what kind of India we are envisaging? Number three, what are the offers to the people? So we are offering justice, liberty, equality and fraternity to all of us. And a fourth important point which we can conclude from the preamble is the date of adoption of the constitution. the date of adoption. The preamble says this in our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, 26th day of November 1949. So, the date of adoption is very important. When did we create this constitution? We are very clear. We have made it on 26th day of November 1949. We adopted the constitution, we accepted we passed the constitution. But the constitution came into being on 26th January 1950. That is what we celebrate it as the Republic Day. That is a different thing, because that is the day we declare India as a republic. But till then it was under the control of the Britain. Now we are free, 100% sovereign. When the constitution came into being, we became sovereign. So that is why 26th day of 26th January, which we celebrate it as the the Republic Day, is the constitution, the day which constitution came into being, but this is the day when we adopted the constitution. And a fifth point I would like to add here is the preamble cannot override the express provisions of the constitution. Preamble cannot override the expressed provisions of the constitution. Meaning, if there is constitution, the preamble cannot be directly implemented. Preamble cannot be directly implemented, but if there is an ambiguity in the constitution, in some of the provisions of the constitution, preamble can help us in clearing that doubt. Preamble can give us a feel and the overall outlook of the constitution. Accordingly, we can interpret the provisions more effectively. Please note, preamble can be used to interpret the constitution. Preamble can be used to understand the meaning of what is written inside the constitution. Preamble itself cannot be directly used to directly implemented. That is the only point in preamble which you should keep in mind. Preamble is a part of the constitution. Article 368 can be used to amend the constitution according to Supreme Court. So preamble gives us so much of idea. One page will give us a clue about what kind of India, what kind of rights are there for the people of India, and when did we adopt this constitution, and who created this constitution for us. Everything is clear from the preamble. So it's a beautiful summary of our entire constitution in one sentence, prepared by Jawaharlal Nehru, a wonderful creation. That is our preamble.